The raccoon mother loved her little raccoon very much and didn't want it to be hurt in any way, so she put the little raccoon in a safe house she had built and wouldn't let it step outside even half a step. But the little raccoon was very curious about the outside world. It would sneak out of the cave when its mother wasn't paying attention, then learn to dig for shells just like its mother did. But the mother was very angry, so she dragged it back to the mountaintop. Yet it ran out again to play with the little seabirds, and unsurprisingly, was caught and brought back again. The little raccoon was very dejected. At this moment, a conch shell caught its attention. It secretly ran to the conch shell, picked it up and put it to its ear, and actually heard the sound of ocean waves coming from inside the shell. Just then, its mother found it. This time, the mother was truly angry. The little raccoon retreated into the cave in fear, and the conch shell in its hands was even knocked away and sent flying by its mother. The mother's fierce appearance frightened the little raccoon terribly. Looking at the broken conch shell, the little raccoon was very sad. Just at that moment, a little seagull flew over and snatched away the little raccoon's remaining half of the conch shell. The little raccoon immediately chased after it, because this was its only toy. It chased the little seagull all the way but didn't realize the danger ahead. A big gray wolf actually appeared among the flock of seabirds. The little raccoon was terrified. It wanted to escape, but it was already too late. Just as it was about to be eaten, at the critical moment, the raccoon mother rushed out, grabbed the little raccoon in her mouth and ran. They climbed up a big tree and finally escaped from danger. Looking at the injured little raccoon, the mother lost her temper again. Looking at the frightened child, the mother felt both heartbroken and guilty. She clearly wanted to cry but didn't want the little raccoon to see. The little raccoon looked at its mother with guilt and finally understood its mother's well-meaning intentions. That night, they sat quietly in the tree for a long time. Time flew by, and the little raccoon grew up. It also became a mother and had a lovely daughter. The daughter was as mischievous as it had been when it was little and was also full of curiosity about the outside world. But now the little raccoon was just like its mother had been, always wanting to protect its daughter inside the cave and not wanting it to be hurt in any way. But the daughter was as mischievous as she had been when she was little. Just after bringing her daughter back to the cave, in just the time it took to turn around, she had disappeared. This terrified the little raccoon. It grabbed its daughter in its mouth and ran back to the cave. This was the first time it had gotten angry at its daughter. Looking at her daughter's frightened appearance, the little raccoon suddenly realized that she was no different from the big gray wolf. It looked at its daughter with guilt. It didn't know whether it was educating its daughter or educating its former self. At this moment, it suddenly thought of something, so it took its daughter and climbed up the tree, pointed to the big gray wolf not far away, and then pointed to the scar on its own nose. It wanted to use its own experience to tell its daughter that the outside world wasn't as beautiful as imagined and that danger could happen at any time. At this moment, the daughter seemed to understand what its mother meant. From then on, it was no longer as reckless as before. They made changes for each other. The little raccoon would take its daughter out of the cave, take it to dig for shells together, and experience the beauty outside the cave together. It gave its daughter the conch shell it had loved most when it was little, wanting her to feel the sound of the ocean waves. Looking at the well-behaved daughter in front of it, the little raccoon began to miss its own mother. If only it and its mother could have been like this back then, how wonderful.